All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shah, Bahashem Kakadash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS, whom rule well, teach well, being great examples towards younger brothers. And peace and blessing salutations to the hopeful lake out there pushing his word and truth and in sincerity across the four winds in the name of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shah. Pushing to get up out of here. Shalom to the hopeful lake, the believers, the listeners, whom have came back to the obedience of the scriptures through faith in Yahweh Hashem Shah. All right, and what we're going to get into this afternoon, or this morning rather, all right, is dealing with kings and priests, okay? Because when it comes to pretty much running, all right, a nation, you know, and that's what any nation of people that have their kings, okay, which pretty much deal with the practical affairs of the day-to-day of running an empire, okay? When you think of kings, what people have to understand, a king is pretty much the manager of a realm, okay? When you're a king, your main duty is to manage the affairs of the realm. Now you have people in place, okay, under you that are over specific things, you know, within your domain, okay, all working together to manage, all right, and run the kingdom efficiently. And the king is pretty much like a general manager, okay? They manage all these different departments that run their empire, okay? So when you think of the office of a king, you know, king is like a manager of the earth. If you're like Esau, Edom, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked, all right? Esau has pretty much been given the management of the earth, and we see where he has taken it, okay? And on the left-hand side, he has his priesthood, okay? Astrologers, okay? Prognosticators, all right? And wickedness, okay? So every empire is ran by kings and priests, okay? And the king will refer to the priest for what, man? For spiritual intuition, to tap into prophecy, to see, you know, the affairs of the spiritual realm, okay, and how it's going to affect his physical realm, okay? And that was the dynamic you will have between kings and priests, okay? And with Israel, we got it in righteousness, okay? And what we're coming into is the Israelite man is going to be king and priest in one, okay? The two offices won't be split anymore, okay? It'll be one office, you know? And I'll say we had the priests that will look into the tedious things, and, you know, be heavily into, you know, the things of the law, okay? And the king will be mainly focused on what? The practical affairs of the kingdom. It was two, you know, you had two offices, okay? The kings would have to go to who? The priest, okay? For particular, you know, matters and situations, you know, dealing with war, okay? The priest had to be, okay, within the council of war, you know? King, you know, kings will have the priest there before war, okay? Then with Israel, you had the aspect of what? Prophets. They will be in different councils and king's courts, okay? But what Yahweh Shema Shah is doing, he's making it one office to where we're all going to be, you know, the men of Israel are going to be kings and priests in one. Now, said that, so let's get this here, because this is the end game. This is Revelation 5 and 9. It says, and they sung a new song, saying, Thou art worthy to take the book and to open the seal thereof, for thou wast slain and hast redeemed us to the Most High by thy blood out of every kindred and tongue and people and nation, and has made us unto our power, kings and priests, and we shall reign on the earth. Okay? Reign on the earth. And that's going to be after the order of Melchizedek, because Melchizedek was a king and a priest in one. Okay? You go to his name, Malak. All right? Tazadak. All right? Which is king of righteousness. Okay? The king of Salem, the king of peace, which we know ultimately that was Yahweh Shai. Okay? But he stood in the office as a king and a priest. And that's the order that we're coming under, all right, under Yahweh Shai, is the order of Melchizedek. Now, this is the book of Genesis 14 and 17. It says, and the king of Sodom went out to meet him after he returned from the slaughter of the Chaldalamer, which this is Abram, okay, before his name changed to Abraham. And he's coming back, pretty much rescuing Lot, all right, from those men who had kidnapped Lot, okay? And it says, from the slaughter of the Chaldalamer and of the kings that were with him at the valley of Shavah, which is the king's dale. And Melchizedek, king of Salem, brought forth bread and wine, and he was the priest, okay, of the Most High. So he was a king, all right, king of Salem, king of peace, you see, pretty much king of Jerusalem, you see. Well, you know that's Yahweh Shai, but he's also what, a priest unto the Most High. He had both offices, and that's the office that we're going to have in the kingdom, is the duality of both. And now, you got brothers that go more into the kingly aspect, of the kingdom. And then you have brothers that go more into the priestly aspect of the kingdom, dealing with the tedious, of the law, as far as, what the law represented, in the spirit, how it shadows certain things to come. Brothers can relate, things back to the law, okay? That more priestly aspect. And then you have, the more kingly aspect where brothers go into managing, themselves, first, because being a king, you have discipline and know how to manage yourself first, okay? And then it goes into managing, okay, the practicalities of your life in the spirit, being a governor of your situation in the spirit, okay? Handling things in the practical, all right? Because one thing about it, Yahweh Shai brought balance to everything, even the law. Like, when Yahweh Shai, that's why when he was 12, okay? Get that in Psalms first. But then we're going to Yahweh Shai, how he pretty much brought the balance, because the Levitical priesthood was established when Yahweh Shai came. Okay? The Levitical priesthood was still in full effect. Okay? And what Yahweh Shai did, he brought the balance to it after the order of Melchizedek. Now, this is Psalms, okay, 110 and 4. It says, the Lord hath sworn and will not repent. Thou art a priest forever after the order of Melchizedek. Okay, and that's Yahweh Shai. Okay, that's going to bring that order, that has brought that order of Melchizedek to the nation. All right, not the Levitical. Okay, we're going back here with John the Baptist. Pretty much, this was the passing of the priesthood. Pretty much when John the Baptist baptized Yahweh Shai, it was pretty much the passing of the priesthood. Okay? And John the Baptist in the spirit knew these things. This is John the Baptist 3 and 30. This is St. John 3 and 30. So like it says, he must increase, all right? And he's speaking of Yahweh Shai, but I must decrease, and it's mainly speaking of their old Levitical priesthood, okay? Which had to decrease so the order of Melchizedek can increase, okay? Where Israelite men can be kings and priests in one. Okay? And but Yahweh Shah was bringing the balance to it. So that's why when you go to the book of Luke, all right, the second chapter, when they was looking for Yahweh Shah, all right, Luke 2:41 said, now his parents went to Jerusalem every year at the feast of the Passover. And when he was 12 years old, they went up to Jerusalem after the custom of the feast. And when they had fulfilled the days as they returned, the child Yahushua tarried behind in Jerusalem, and Joseph and his mother knew not of it. But they supposing him to have been in the company went a day's journey, and they saw him among their kinsfolk and acquaintance. And when they found him not, they turned back again to Jerusalem seeking him. And it came to pass that after 3 days they found him in the temple, sitting in the midst of the doctors, both hearing them and asking them questions. So Yahushua was going into the law, the tedious matters of the law, before he began. Because remember, at 12 you pretty much start being responsible for your actions. Okay? You're held to their standard of the law. So he's going and just getting, going back and forth, okay, with these lawyers, these Levites, these priests, these doctors of the law, men that all their life they pretty much study the tedious and the different, aspects of the law. And Yahushua was going and getting that understanding and just, going back and forth, okay, and getting the tedious aspect of the law, because he will live a perfect life. And that's why when those scribes and Pharisees will come with the attempt to trip him up, okay, remember Yahushua was an expert in the law, okay, but then in the spirit he understood mercy. You see, so he was bringing balance, okay, to the priesthood, all right, and he was setting up the priesthood after the order of Melchizedek, man. You see, kings and priests. That's why when you go here, when they were asking certain things, let's go to Matthew, I believe it's 22. They would always try to trip him up in the law, and he would cut him because he had full understanding of that, man, But they would pretty much, but pretty much, the scribes and Pharisees had pretty much weaponized the law, okay, to make it seem as if they was always above everyone through their own righteousness of the law, and they would put these heavy burdens of the law on Israel, which we was in captivity, okay, and they would put those heavy burdens of the law on our people, and they were even adding things to the law, making a law within the law, okay. They didn't get it, because remember, a king is supposed to manage his realm, okay, and as a king, pretty much a king was like a filter to pretty much simplify, okay, what's required in the law, okay. They was making it more complicated. They was making it more unachievable. Yahushua, remember we did a lesson earlier how Yahushua made it doable, because Yahushua is managing. See, the elect are the subjects of Yahushua right now, okay, and he's managing his realm, all right, which is the elect, okay. He gave us a standard, but he made it doable, okay. And he's the high priest. He's in the spiritual realm, the true holy of holies, making intercession for us, man, as he's managing us as a king in the earth through the spirit, okay, through the men that he has set up in the earth. Remember, because as a king, you will have particular men over particular affairs of your realm. And that's what's going on now in the earth. There's particular men that are over, you got brothers over this camp, second in command at that camp, All right, and then all the brothers in the camp pretty much have some type of following that they're managing, but it all works its way from the top Yahweh Shai down to the to the very bottom, man, to the newest believer. Yahweh Shai is managing all that in the spirit as a king, but then according to the law, when we go off of things happen, he can make intercession as a priest, okay, just as the high priest would. So you see, Yahweh Shai is working both offices right now. And that's what we're being groomed to do. You know? And I pray this is making sense. Okay? Now, when you go here, it's the book of Matthew, chapter 22, verse 34. It says, "But when the Pharisees had heard that he had put the Sadducees to silence, they were gathered together. Then one of them, which was a lawyer, okay, a Levite, an expert in the law, asked him a question, tempting him and saying, Master, which is the greatest commandment in the law? Yahweh Shai said unto him, Thou shalt love the Lord thy power with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy mind. This is the first and great commandment. And the second is like unto it, Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. On these two commandments hang all the law and the prophets." Okay, so Yahweh Shai simplified the law to make it doable. Because if we love Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai with all our strength, okay, what is that going to prevent us from committing spiritual fornication, going after idolatry? No, we love Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. There's no way we'll go be in the temple of Buddha, okay, or follow some false Christianity, man. Okay, or be Pan-Africanism. No, we love Yahweh by Shema Shai. That keeps us from what? Idolatry and paganism, which was the major reason we got put into captivity. Okay? So loving Yahweh by Shema Shai, all right, with all our strength, prevents what? That temptation of spiritual fornication, man, which was a major hindrance to us as a nation. Okay, because once you start idolatry, there's lifestyles that come with, those idols, man. Okay? So reading it again, verse 39 again, it says, "And the second is like unto it, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself." Yeah, you should love your neighbor as thyself. Okay? And if you love your neighbor as yourself, would you want somebody to commit adultery with your wife? Okay? So you wouldn't do that to another brother. Okay? And see, going back to it was a mindset thing. You know? The fact that you can get stoned, because right now we're in a time where we're not under the consequences of the law. Okay? There's still a standard that's expected, because you can't just go commit adultery rampant or, just be a thief and, lying, grimy nigga. You can't do those things, man. Okay, stealing, just murdering, okay? You're still under a standard, but the consequences that will come with particular things, okay, are not in effect, okay? And that's pretty much testing the integrity of Israel, because I say it shouldn't, if the only thing that's keeping you from committing adultery is the fact that you could get stoned, that means that you don't understand, okay, the mindset that Yahweh Bashim Shah wants. Okay? We within this captivity, this grace period, we pretty much have came into an understanding of why these things are put in place. The love that I have for my brother, that's what keeps me from committing adultery. That's what overrides the flesh. Okay? It's the love that I have for the brother. Teaching the false doctrine, because pretty much when you teach a false doctrine, that's like being a mass murderer, because you're pushing a doctrine on people that in these times is going to get a lot of people put to death. You see? But if you truly had love for the brethren, you wouldn't teach a false doctrine. You would be able to admit, you wouldn't have pride, your pride won't stop you from saying, well, I was wrong on that. This is what it is. Okay? But when you don't really love the brethren, Okay, you would teach a false doctrine, not think nothing of it. You would say the dumbest things. Okay, have the most bugged out breakdowns. Okay, and present it to the body because there's no true love for the brethren. Okay, so these two mindsets, loving Yahweh Shema with all our heart and our strength, thy soul, and loving thy neighbors thyself. Okay, that's a mindset that Yahweh Shah was putting in us. And if that's the foundation, okay, of our thought process, the foundation of how we move, the love of Yahweh Shema Shah and the love of the brethren, there are certain things that we won't do and will be fulfilling the law by default. You know, you wouldn't steal from your brother. Okay, you love the brethren. You know, you give to your brother. Okay, Jake said your garments break down, charge you for to get on the, you know, the website. You know, because there's no real love for the brethren. You see, because under those two, that's why Yahweh Shai said, on these two commandments hang all the law and the prophets. Okay, Yahweh Shai was simplifying it. You see, and the scriptures go into that again. Where you go here to Wisdom of Solomon. Let's get Wisdom of Solomon. Okay. Wisdom of Solomon, the first chapter. All right, this is the Wisdom of Solomon. Okay, 1:1. It says, "Love righteousness, ye that be judges of the earth. Think of the Lord, all right, with a good heart and in simplicity of heart, seek Him." Okay, so the scripture is telling us what to love righteousness, the priestly aspect. You see, ye that be judges of the earth, the decision makers, the kingly aspect. Okay, think of the Lord with a goodness, all right, with a good heart, good mind, and then simplicity of heart, simplicity of mind, seek Him. Okay, so as a king, as we manage affairs in the kingdom, we're going to have the balance. Okay, because the law is going to be within us, just like Yahweh Shai, the law was within him. He knew every aspect of the law. In order to keep it perfectly, he had to be, you know, an expert in it. You see? But then he understood mercy as well. He understood, you know, applying the law practical. You see? We're pretty much learning the skill set that we can apply the law in practical situations. Okay? Knowing how to maneuver. So in the kingdom, when we begin to be kings and priests, we're going to understand how to practically apply the law in the earth with balance. Okay? That's what we're being groomed to be. You know, being balanced from both aspects. Okay? And I say the law is going to be within us, so we're going to perfectly know the right way. You see? And then we also want to know how to manage. Because if you manage in the earth, you have to manage the people in the earth. Manage people. And it's going to be what? Through this perfect law. Okay? And knowing the practical aspect of how to apply it. You see? And that first 1,000 years is going to be rigorous. It's going to be a very strict rule. Okay? Because a righteous standard has to be set in the earth because the earth has been, you know, just backsliding wickedness for so long. You know? There has to be a firm, all right, insertion of the law in the earth. Okay? And out of that 1,000 years, okay, the things are gonna lighten up for the heathen a little bit, man. They're still gonna be our servants. Okay? They're still gonna be fully under us, and they're still, all right, are gonna, because by then they're gonna wanna keep their way, because they're gonna see the benefits of it, man. You know, they're gonna see the condition of the earth from keeping their way. They're gonna see the condition of the people from keeping their way. Okay? And us as kings and priests are going to maintain that order eternally, perpetually. Okay? So this is what we're being groomed to be. And when you go to this, get this in Psalms. Psalm, what was that? Jeremiah first. Because when Yahushua comes back, he's going to be executing what? Judgment and righteousness. Okay, when you go to Jeremiah, Jeremiah 23 and 5. This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 23, verse 5. It said, Behold, the days come, said the Lord, that I will raise unto David a righteous branch, and a king, you see there, a king, shall reign and prosper, and shall execute judgment and justice in the earth. And that's what kings, they execute the judgment, okay, that needs to be done in the earth. The king will give the say-so, the go-ahead to execute specific judgments in the earth. And Yahushua is coming to execute righteous judgment in the earth, man. This is why the elect, okay, are going to be put in rulership. There's going to be a judgment call from the king. Okay, the elect are going to be given immortality. That's a judgment call from the king. Okay, hey, America going to be completely destroyed. That's a righteous judgment call from the king. Okay, and what standard is this king going to be going by? Okay, which is Yahushua. Let's get the book of Revelation. All right. These heathens going into captivity, that's a righteous judgment call from the king. Okay? All right, this is Revelation 20:11. It says, And I saw a great white throne, and him that sat on it, okay, which is Yahushua. And what does a throne represent? It's a place of judgment, because a king would sit on his throne and would judge his realm, make decisions and judgment calls within this realm. When the king sits the throne, you know, because the king is not always on the throne. You know, sometimes he's moving around, you know, bed chambers, okay, or he's in council. But when the king will come out and sit the throne, now he's finna start executing judgment. Okay, he done had his councils, he done, you know, moved around, you know, he done researched and, you know, whatever he had to do. Now when he sits the throne, okay, he's finna execute judgment. He's finna send out orders and decrees. They come from the throne. Okay? I remember one time on the Game of Thrones when you had Robert Baratheon, okay, his son, and the daughter of Ned Stark pretty much got into it, and some things happened, played out. But anyway, it was some judgment that needed to be done. Now, they was traveling from Winterfell back to the King's Landing. So it's like they were staying in some type of lodge or hotel or whatever. So what happened when it was time to make a decision, they had a throne that they were traveling with them, and they brought the throne like in the little lobby area, and the king sat on the throne and made that decision. Like they brought the throne to him, you know, because the king sit the throne. That's when decisions go out. So this chariot that Yahushua is on is like that's the throne. He's bringing his throne to the earth to execute judgment, man. Okay, and how is he going to execute it? Let's read it. It says Revelation 20:11. It says, And I saw a great white throne, and him that sat on it, from whose face the earth and the heaven fled away, and there was no place for them. And I saw the dead, small and great, stand before, all right, the Most High, and the books were open. What books? Okay? And another book were open, which is the book of life. And the dead were judged out of those things what were written in the book of life according to their works. So the books were open. That's when you go into the priestly aspect, because he's going to judge according to the standard in the book. He's going to judge people's lives, all right, according to the standard that's in the book. And that's how he's going to execute his judgment. Okay? He's not going to be physically looking at a book and reading a story of somebody's life. Okay? It's going to be all in him because he is the word. Okay? So he fully understands the law. Okay? And he's understanding of the acts and deeds that have been done in the earth. So when he comes back to execute, he's going to be executing as a king, executing by a priestly standard. You see? And I pray it's making sense. You know, if you got any questions, ask. All right? You can either now or on the coming board. But Yahweh Shai, okay, is coming back as his king who's going to judge after the manner of a priest, the standard of a priest. Okay? That's why I say the books were open, which is what? The standard of the Bible. That's what the earth is going to be judged by. Okay? And that's how the Levites, you know, would judge situation. They would go to the books. Okay? So Lord will, you know, this was edifying. You know, I just want to bring this aspect out, you know, dealing with kings and priests as we, you know, understand what we're becoming, okay, after the order of Melchizedek. So, Lord will, you know, you brothers and sisters edified. Till next time I say Shalom, Kwon Yashala, Bob Ball, DTA soon, Shalom.